Next to Kenya, where the president has scrapped a finance bill that had provoked huge protests across the country. In an address to the nation, William Ruto said it was clear Kenyans want nothing to do with it. The U-turn comes after at least 22 people were killed during demonstrations in which Parliament was ransacked and the City Hall was set alight. Well, we can now speak to our senior Africa correspondent, Anne Soy, who's in Nairobi for us. And Anne, there have been calls for more protests today in the country. Are those expected to go ahead?
We don't know, Catherine, and I have joined briefly some of the Twitter spaces or X spaces where some of these discussions have been going on, and there appears to be a split among the young people who have been coming out to protest. Whilst some are determined to continue the protests and they want to march to State House, others have been urging them against doing that, saying that State House is a protected area. But the consensus appears to be that this was not just about the finance bill. They're still not happy with what they see as corruption, and it has been fueled by some of the close allies of the president who have been coming out, giving out wads of cash in fundraisers, living opulent lives, and these are people who just the other day were known not to have so much money, and so there are questions that have been asked about that. The government was also asked to look at some of the things that they have budgeted for, that offices that are not constitutional. For instance, there's an office of the spouse of the Prime Cabinet Secretary, and people are saying, why should taxpayers pay for this office that does not exist in the Constitution? So there are many more grievances which people have been airing. So we'll wait to see whether they actually come out to the streets.
And Anne, in terms of what happens next, the president has called for an open dialogue with young people. Considering these demonstrations have been practically leaderless so far, how likely is that?
That has been the challenge, because the president has on two different occasions, including yesterday, asked for dialogue with the young people. And every attempt by any one of them to come forward to assume leadership has been denounced by the group. They say they just want to be equals, a group of equals who are agitating for change in the country. And therefore, as you say, they're leaderless at the moment, and therefore engaging with them becomes difficult because it's such a large group.
And Anne, what happens to the finance bill itself?
That has now been withdrawn. The government has notified officially the Speaker of Parliament that he declines to assent to the bill, therefore it does not become law, and sends it back to Parliament with recommendations that all the amendments, it was an amendment bill, all the amendments be revoked, and that would make it withdrawn. However, there are discussions at the moment among legal circles what this means, given that Parliament has already gone on recess. And by law, if even if the president does not assent to it, and then Parliament is not sitting for some time, it could still become law. So there's still a bit of discussion about what exactly this means and what needs to be done to make sure that it actually does not pass. It does not become law.
And thank you. That's our senior Africa correspondent, Anne Soy, in Nairobi there.